Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Radiant Tale, continuing Vilio's route. Not quite into Chapter 2 yet, because we spent a lot of time, talking about random shit, interjecting into the game. So, we'll probably cross over into Chapter 2 soon, so. Anyway, the following day, I woke up feeling rested. It was like I'd never had trouble sleeping at all.
Wow, check it out! Popcorn chicken, chicken wings, meatball, fluffy bread, and hot soup. Good to know Lieber's food's as tasty as ever.
You're having that for breakfast?
That's great. Make sure you eat up before you leave.
Made a rather luxurious lunch before setting off for Kalita. Oh, lunch. Makes sense. There he is. I was like, we're not going to see Rady?
Oh, man. Booze would go down great with the chicken and fries.
Seriously, it's still early. Oh, and Spirit told me you've been drinking more since I left. What's up with that?
Fine, whatever. I'll dial it back.
He's sad and depressed because you left him for another man.
Oh, how I miss hearing this back and forth.
It felt so nice chatting with Spiria and Relita for the first time in a while. Relita, a golem created by Celius, the great spirit of Earth, 1,000 years ago. Imbued with an impressive amount of the Caritas Wand's magic, he's literally half of the core item. Oops. I couldn't help smiling ear to ear.
By the way, you sure you're not going to open for lunch? It's fine once in a while. You know, our regulars scolded me for not taking some time off for family. Besides, I'd like the chance to catch up some more. I want to know more about the man who won my darling niece's heart.
You mean me?
Who else? We haven't had the chance to chat at length. My first impression of you was nothing more than a cheerful guest who ate a lot.
I still clearly remember our first meeting, you know. Because your food was so delicious, it filled both my stomach and my heart.
He's so fucking cute.
No, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the stuff I ate at other places or the castle was bad.
Dude, you just remembered the food, not Spiria. At least he still said nice things.
Grinning broadly, Vilio continued to cram heaps of food into his mouth. He's like a hamster. Hamster, a nocturnal omnivorous rodent, popular as pets. Its large cheek pouches are its defining trait. We didn't need the glossary for hamster. We know what a hamster is. Though maybe it was odd to liken the strongest fey beast in the world to a tiny rodent.
Seriously, I still can't believe this doofus is actually a legendary dragon.
Oh, come on, you've seen me in my dragon form like 1,000 times already.
Yeah, I know. You're just lacking a certain dignity.
I hear you. I thought he was some wannabe dragon at first. Wannabe dragon. Rady and our heroine couldn't believe their ears when Vilio introduced himself as a dragon during their first meeting. They made a snap judgment that he was merely a wannabe. Well, yeah, because, I mean, he's like an adorable idiot.
See? No one would have thought you were the real deal, super duper rare ultimate fey beast.
What does that make you? You're straight up mythical, even rarer than a dragon.
Gulping down his next mouthful, Vilio looked up at Relita with a grin. Now that you mention it, did you know Relita wasn't a fey from the start?
Not really. I was only suspicious at first. I knew it for sure when I saw the Caritas one, though.
I glanced at Relita as Vilio spoke. He was something like my big brother, always watching over me from close by. Well, when you say things like he's kind of like my brother, that makes him hotter. But when you act like I watched you grow up, I'm like your dad, that's a little weird. Unless you're my dad from a certain game, and then it's like, not my dad. That's her dad, not my dad. And I don't mean adoptive dad. You know what game I'm talking about. Real, absolute bio dad. Genetically related. Not to me, though. I can still look at him and be like, he could be my daddy. You know what I mean? The adoptive ones are different. Those ones, you're like, whatever. We bang our brothers. But dad, I kind of trouble. That's kind of gross. gotta have some kind of moral standing somewhere. There's gotta be a line somewhere that I won't cross. They haven't let us ever date our dads. Even the adoptive ones, thank God. But they always, like, they give you the dad figures. Like Rady being like, when you were a child, I remember changing your diaper. Oh, God. Or, like, Cafe Enchanté with Brendo being like, well, I'm old. Constantly reminding us that he was in his 40s and she's like 18. Constantly bringing it up. Please don't. Look, I know some people are cool with age gaps and stuff like that. And, like, listen, you're like, Rady, I'm like 1,000 years old. That's fine. Whatever. I'm like 40 and you're like 17. Gross. That's where I draw the, like, no. You gotta be like some kind of immortal. You've been around for centuries. You know? Like, then okay, maybe fine. But like, couple decades, old enough to be my actual, like, my great-great-grandfather? Whatevs. Whatevs at that point. But like, my actual dad? Gross. But if you're a side character in the game that's my actual dad, then, like, I, as the player, can fantasize about them and be like, well, I like this character. I'm glad we don't date them, though. You know what I mean? It's a spoiler for the game if I tell you what game, but you know which one I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean? And you're like, you know. What are you doing? Where are you going? Anyway. So, Brady being our big brother is hot, though. I'm still processing this, but you've been around for more than 1,000 years, right? That age gap's totally acceptable for me.
Yep, I'm pretty much a legend too, just like your great dragon over here.
Marlene had such a smug look on his face. He does, he's precious. I took the opportunity to follow up with a question I'd had on my mind for a while. So you're gonna live for a long time still?
Oh, about that. I can live as long as the wand exists.
Oh, okay. I let out a sigh of relief at his answer. At the very least, Relita would still be here for many years to come. That thought was reassuring. Maybe that's why her power's going out of whack, is just because, like, she's maybe got more of a lifespan of a dragon now because she's become his mate, so she's, like, uneasy about... And, like, I feel like that could be way more fitting. I hope that's what it is, because, you know, but... just thinking that she's pregnant and some of the things that are said is fucking hilarious. Like, we gotta find it and get rid of it. I'm with you. You know what I mean? You're like, that's kind of funny. But if you look, like, the way she was looking at the city and just feeling sad because everything is kind of changing because it's just been a year. And, like, yeah, things change around you all the time. And if you leave your hometown, you come back, you're like, well, yeah, a lot of things change, man. And, like, you might have a moment where you're like, oh, it's a little sad. But, like, she's, like, really feeling it. Like, it's a very intense feeling, like, the way they're bringing it up. So it's almost like, because I would assume then getting some of his magic and being a dragon bride, you're also going to get some of his lifespan, which is fucking forever. You're not going to be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to live to like 80 and then die. You're going to live longer and outlive your normal human compatriots. You know what I mean? So things like that could kind of be in the back of her mind and like deep down and thinking about it. And her staring at the city and being all sad about the fact that all these little things changed from when she was a kid. Like, when I was a kid, that was a Twister, and now it's a coffee shop. And it's like, that's the natural progression, though. That's what happens to everyone. Things you remember as a child, and it's not that you don't feel sad about it. Everybody does in real life. But she's feeling it more than normal. Because it's not like, oh man, it's just, remember when this was this, remember when that was, yeah, you know, it's just the natural progression of time. And as you get older, it gets worse. You know what I mean? Because you're like, oh God, the clock's ticking down. I'm going to die soon, you know? But in her mind, it's everything is changing. It's going to keep doing this. And everybody I know and love is going to change and grow old and die. And I'm still going to be here. Especially right now when she's looking at Radiant like, oh, so you're going to he's like, yeah, as long as the wand's around, I'm here. And she's like, oh, thank God. Because everybody else is going to die before me. And so then you think back to the vines, like, oh, Vilio's hugging her. And she grew these vines around them to hold him there, to keep something stationary and safe. Because the change and the progression of time, while normal, you feel it more when you are moving at a slower pace than everything else. And you're moving at a slower pace because your life is so much more extended than everybody else's. Like in the normal window of a human life, you and time are moving at the same pace. Things are changing rapidly around you, and you're like, man, everything is changing, but I'm changing. When you're going to live 200-300 years, you're like, everything is moving so fucking fast. You're not moving and changing as fast. You know what I mean? You're not aging as fast as everybody around you. You're not moving at the same speed. You're like, time is almost different for you. You know what I mean? So that could be why your magic's going out of control, to be fair. You know? And you just got to adjust to the fact that that's your life now. What you expected your life to be is vastly different now. Which would be hard for anyone, to be fair. So, Relita reached over and mussed up my hair. I had no idea what he was thinking. What is it?
You know, I really owe Celius for creating me. I went through a lot of stuff in my long life, but I got to meet all you guys thanks to that. That alone proves my life ain't a waste. I'm sure I'll feel the same way years and years from now.
What he said took a weight off my mind, though it was a little out of character. He'd probably noticed how unsettled I felt deep down and was comforting me. Yeah, and the being unsettled and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Right then, the red-headed dragon beside me scratched his head with a chuckle, a complicated look on his face.
I knew it. I'm still no match for you, Relita.
And I just want to say, okay, Rady's supposed to be pink. Their hair is literally almost the exact same color. It's a very, very slight difference. Like, Vilio's being a little bit darker in the shadowed areas, but that's it. Like, it's kind of like Vilio is the day you first dye your hair, and Rady is after you take your first shower and a little bit of the color rinses out. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But Rady's supposed to be pink, and Vilio's red, but they're exactly the same motherfucking color. So, this is why I'd always wear when like, Rady's pink for pink. The fuck? He's not pink, he's red. I'm just saying they could have done a better job making him pink. Anyway.
Well, that's obvious. I'm basically your big bro, ain't I? Can't let you surpass me that easily.
Got it, big bro.
Man, I don't know why, but it feels so weird hearing you call me that.
The three of us continued to joke around. Our hearty chat was only interrupted when Spiria brought some dessert to the table.
You're also part of our family now, Vilio.
What? I am?
How's that come as a surprise? Ain't it obvious? You're Spacey's mate, my guy.
And that's right. It doesn't matter whether you're a legendary dragon or a strange critter made by a great spirit. Punch Rady right in the feels.
You're all family to me. Really, Spiria? Strange critter? I know that you're wrong, I suppose.
Oh, okay. He wasn't like, I don't care if you're a human or a dragon. Spacey fell in love with you. No, she was just saying, like, you're a dragon and he's a weird creature and she's actually related to me, but we're all family. Okay. Thought she was just, like, singling Vilio out for a hot second, not just talking about everybody, but never mind. It's still funny.
Oh. What goes for Spacey goes for you, too. Feel free to come here whenever you run out of food. We'll welcome you anytime.
Family. I see.
Vilio etched the word, testing it out. Echoed the word, wow, testing it out.
Don't know if I can express this enough, but I feel blessed to have a home to return to. I kinda get why you find it hard to leave this place at first, Spacey. It's like you want to cherish the moment forever. You're afraid to let go of the joy you feel here.
The Dragon Boy looked up after he was done with his musing.
Alright then. Hey, Spiria, give me another meatball. He's like, alright then, time to go.
That would have been so mean. Meatball, a dish made from minced meat. Okay, we know what fucking meatballs are. Jesus Christ. This is getting a little absurd, game. He gleefully thrust out his empty plate.
Sure, I still have a lot. Eat as much as you want.
I'm just gonna say, I'm pretty sure people in Japan know what a fucking meatball is, too. Just saying. I don't think they needed that. I get it when it's like an Italian dish when we were in Pio Fiore and they were giving us all the freaking definition for all the Italian food. Sure, fine, I get that. That's different, but like, pretty sure you know what a meatball is. It's a ball of meat. It's not complicated. Like, crab rangoon. It's a rangoon of crab. That's different. But, like, you know what I mean? A meatball. You know what it is. The warm laughter of our family filled the room. That day, Spiria's home cooking tasted even more delicious than usual. Chapter 2 now? Yep, chapter 2 now. Whoop! That was me to my bird. Giving you raspberries. You're so silly. You're a good boy. Kalita, the scholar city, was the foremost gathering place for all the knowledge in the world. Relita agreed to come with us, so he and I rode here on Vilio's back from the capital. That's true. I was like, we what? I was like, oh, we were coming here in a car. Nope, that's right. We have a dragon boyfriend. Husband. Right after we set foot in the Sage Tower, the symbol of the city, I underwent a series of tests to assess my magic. Okay, if they don't come back instantaneously and be like, well, you're clearly pregnant, then she's obviously not, because there's no way a series of tests or your parents couldn't figure this shit out. So, okay, that's not the problem. It's probably because dragons live for fucking forever in the passage of time, and when you get older, everything is, what is even time? Every day is like that, okay? If you don't think about what the fuck even is time, holy shit, what the hell just happened? At least once a day? Good fucking for you, okay? Seriously? Like, because it happens so frequently. I'm telling you, the older I get, I swear to God, every fucking 5 minutes, it's like, how many times have I said of playing this game, what even is time? You've probably heard it 700 times in the last week. Like, because seriously, when you think about things and you're looking at things, or like, the fact that people who graduated high school in 2004, it's your 20-year high school reunion. What the fuck? What the hell? What in... Like, it's when you start thinking of these things and you're like, wait, what? The music you listened to in high school is on the oldie station? For me, probably. I don't know. I don't listen to the radio. It's probably on AM radio now. Does that even exist anymore? I don't even know. Like... You know what I mean? Like, just like, what is happening? People you work with start to retire and you're like, wait, if you retire, then I'm going to be the old person. Wait, no. No, I was always the young person. Now I'm going to be like the middle-aged, no, and then I'm going to be the old person because you're all going to retire and then I'm going to have to work with like people that just rolled out of college yesterday. What? What even? How? I don't... Guys, if I had magic, everything would be disheveled, is all I'm saying. So I get what she's going through, okay? And she's like 17. So like, 17 or 18. So like, imagine how much worse it's gonna get. Apologies for the wait, Spacey. You as well, Vilio and Relita. Yeah, sorry we're late. The full exam took longer than we thought. It's okay. I'm the one who's sorry for springing this on you.
That's whatever, girl. I'm just glad to see Rigel and Maria are doing all right.
The pair who came in with a bundle of papers were my mom and dad. Until 2 years ago, they'd been suffering the dragon's curse, an affliction they got while researching Fabies when I was young. Freed from the curse, they had returned to their jobs as researchers in the tower. I'm glad we get to see our parents again. I mean, they couldn't bring them back in Rady's route and then not bring them back in this one, you know? The moment they heard about my condition, they offered to help examine my body.
So, how are things looking?
About that, I'm afraid the results are pretty inconclusive. Okay, so there's no way that you can turn around and say she's pregnant if your parents and tests couldn't figure it out.
We didn't find any anomalies in your body. If anything, your physical condition has improved. Unfortunately, we couldn't find the reason why your magic is running out of control.
It's all mental. Oh. Here I was hoping we could find the cause of, or maybe even the solution to, my problem. Reality clearly wasn't so kind. I couldn't help but be disappointed. Don't be so gloomy, my dear. We may not have found what triggered your rampage, but at least we know you're healthy. What I'm saying is that there's a low chance that your magic is harming your body.
She's right. It's good that we know for sure you aren't getting hurt.
Vilio seemed the most relieved out of all of us.
The only thing we can say for sure from the exam is that your draconic power has become more stable, Spacey. Put simply, your body's getting accustomed to your power as it settles in.
I don't understand. If that's the case, shouldn't I be able to control my magic?
That's our question, too. I've come up with a few theories. While your power and magic are stabilizing and growing stronger, they haven't matured yet. That's most likely the answer.
And by that we mean you can't wield your magic properly because you haven't gotten familiar with it.
Oh, I kinda get it. Humans barely have any chances to use magic anyway.
And moreover, the power Spacey received belongs to the strongest dragon in the world.
Draconic might, an overwhelming and unfathomable power our heroine received after becoming Vilio's dragon bride. Much about dragons remains a mystery to this day, and there's practically zero information on dragon brides. The details of the protagonist's changes and the extent of her abilities are just as obscure. Yeah, okay, so.
Unlike spirit contractors, Fae Beast's magic is one with their instincts. It stands to reason that such magic would be harder to master. You've got a point. Whenever I use my magic, I never think about how to unleash it. It just comes out.
In your particular case, your beliefs and common sense might be keeping you from getting used to it. You unconsciously repress your power because you believe no ordinary human should be able to use magic. And, I mean, that's true. We now have magic. We never learned how to wield it. So that's a big problem. You know what I mean? Like, if you all of a sudden, you found out magic exists, okay, and that you magically got magic, you wouldn't know how to fucking use it. You'd have to practice and, learn how to control it and shit like that, right? So, but then also being stressed out about time and stuff could be causing it out of whack. But I like my being stressed about time and shit causing it to go out of whack. But it could be a consequence that's happening because she doesn't know how to control it, obviously.
Spacey was always fixated on living an ordinary life, too.
I can't deny that. Researcher that she was, my mom had hit the nail on the head. With a nod, I summed up my dilemma. So I need to familiarize myself with magic to stop this rampage? Otherwise, I'd continue to burden Vilio and the others. Just as I cast my eyes to the ground, feeling sorry, Vilio patted me on the shoulder.
Nice! We're making some progress!
What?
What are you confused for? All you need to do is use your magic over and over again until you get used to it, right? It's just like the rehearsals we did in circus. You only need a crash course.
As simple as it sounds, he ain't wrong. Unfortunately, we got some friends we can rely on. Pashali has always been good with magic, and Zephora's recently inherited some power of his own.
Pashalia, a charming young man with a kind and gentle aura. He was afflicted with an incurable illness called vastitas, but he clung to life by synchronizing with Vita, a higher water spirit. Gaining ownership of the Lacrima earring saved him from his tragic fate. Now he resides in Oriens, where he works as a consultant for human spirit conflicts. And they just are like, yeah, but you don't need to know about Zephora. Fuck that. We didn't get a glossary term for Zephora here, and we didn't get a glossary term for the frickin' Labyrinth Sentinel necklace. What the hell?
Besides, you can always go to Ion for some advice if you don't know how to control your abilities, and then we get one for Ion!
Who did this route? Tim! Fuck you! Why do you hate Zephora so much? It's because he's better than you. You know what it is? Oh my god. Oh my god! Tim, you let Ronald do these glossaries, didn't you? And Ronald is pissed because he gets yelled at by Zephora because he's fucking Zephora's assistant. Oh, I see how it is. Ronald, you're fired. Ion, a young man from Ferris who excels at martial arts. Since his journey with Circus, he has settled into his post as a commander of the public security forces. As the keeper of the Intaglio ring, he resides in Ferris. I cannot fucking believe that they just, anything relating to Zephora, they're like, no, fuck that. You keep dropping that feather. I have to keep giving it back to you, keep throwing it at me. Do you want it? Like a little feather fell out of him, so he's chewing on it, but then he keeps like dropping it and it keeps like flying across me, so like, put it back on my lap. Anyway, Rolita was grinning from ear to ear. Vilio likewise had a big smile on his face. There was no hint of anxiety in their expressions. Something clicked for me when I realized that.
Well, I don't know where it went, buddy. You can't throw it on the... Well, I lost it now. I don't know where it went. I'm sorry, buddy. I lost... Oh, there's your feather. Here's the feather. Here you go. I'm going to sit like this so that it won't fall on the floor between my legs again. What? I'm just giving you your feather back. There you go. You can play with it. There you go. I know. Anyway, don't throw it on the floor anymore, okay?
Hey, what am I getting all depressed for? At the very least, I found something I can do to stop this from happening, even if it takes a while.
You don't want the feather anymore? I don't have the feather. It's on my lap.
Putting in the effort was the easy part. I always gave things 101%. You guys are right. I should throw everything I've got at this problem.
That's the spirit. How about we reach out to the guys right away?
See, Rachel, species blessed with such wonderful friends.
Yeah, honestly, that makes me a bit lonesome as her parent, but I'm glad her friends are there for her.
In the end, we agreed to meet our friends so they could teach me magic. Having established a plan, we got ready to leave. We're probably going to, not even go talk to Zephora at all because Ronald hates him so much. Pardon my intrusion. I don't know who's saying this. Yay! I was like, who the hell's coming in? Oh, Celeste! Oh, I love you, glasses. The door swung open, revealing a face we never expected to see. Oh. I don't know if I didn't expect to see him. I kind of figured because we're going to see everybody else.
Oh, I'm an analyst.
That's true. He was here. We remembered that, so.
Hello. Fancy seeing all of you here. It's been a while. Shoot, I forgot our appointment's coming up. Sorry, Celeste, but can you sit here and wait?
It's just weird that our dad and Celeste are like the same fucking age.
And take your time. I learned long ago that you were always preoccupied with one thing or another.
Now that he mentions it, didn't he study under Mom and Dad back in the day? Yeah, but then he was like a teenager. Which is so funny. With a polite smile at my parents, the bespectacled man shifted his attention to me. You're gonna give me all your attention? Okay, I'm okay with that. I love him. I love a man in glasses.
Ginny informed me you came here for an assessment because your magic is going out of control.
Oh, yeah. We actually heard the results just now.
King Olivus is worried as well. Is anything amiss with your body?
Would you like to come over here and assess me yourself? Full hands-on. What? You do it too. It's Celeste. You can do anything you want to me. Not at all. We still don't know why my magic is rampaging, but I'm perfectly healthy.
I see. I don't know if I should be entirely relieved, but I am glad you're healthy at the very least.
He nodded to himself. Vilio then spoke up to ask a rather obvious question.
By the way, what brings you here?
If I remember correctly, Ginny said you had to check the core item research findings.
Yep, that's right. Our team in the Sage Tower is currently studying the Roquette Crown. Ginny must have told you about how the crown's mana is depleted. We're going to present our findings to King Calivus through the chalice after this.
He placed the relay chalice on the table. I hadn't seen it in quite some time. Celeste appeared to mull something over before he continued.
Actually, since you're already here, you should stay a while and listen. You're not exactly outsiders when it comes to matters pertaining to the core items.
10 minutes later... Sorry, I had to itch. The three of us found ourselves joining the meeting.
To think we'd chat again when we only spoke yesterday feels positively uncanny.
You're right.
I happened to bump into them here, so I assumed it'd be prudent to invite them. It's all right. I was planning on sharing the information later anyway. And now that said, Rigel and Miria, the floor is yours. Yes, sire. Please have a look at this.
My mom and dad went through some opening remarks to all those present. Then they spread out their documents and tapped one with a pointer as though they were giving a lecture. After measuring it with several mana scales, we concluded that the Rokek crown is almost completely out of mana. Even after King Calivus poured his mana into the ground, it barely increased. How little of an increase was it?
Let's assume King Calivus shares the mana once a week, an amount that won't affect his condition. Based on simple calculations, it'll take at least 10 years for the crown to be full of mana again. It could take even longer.
Did I hear that right? 10 years?
Hardly a realistic goal. Can we use Flora as a substitute?
Huh? Why Flora? Hey, I have flower power. Look at that. I'm going to save the crown. And I have too much of it. It's going out of control. Look at that. Milio tilted his head in confusion, so Dad jumped in to explain further. Flora is actually filled with mana. Its characteristics are similar to mana from His Majesty or other royals. Oh no, the flora, not the power, but yeah, right. Instead, not the chloris, the flora flowers, right? I could make them bloom because I have magic to make flower. Oh, I'm just saying, I'm going to be useful. That's why you were able to use them to wake him up during your journey.
Exactly, but no matter how similar they are, a Flora's mana isn't really the same as the royalties. It'd be nearly impossible to use Flora to provide the Rokek crown with mana.
What do you mean nearly?
It's like they're both vessels, but the shape of their spouts is different. Does that make it easier to understand?
Basically, King Calivus will have to take in the mana from the Flora before he poured into the Rokek crown. He's got to be a middleman.
Wait, doesn't that make it pointless? We'd be relying on Calivus all over again.
Exactly. That's our biggest obstacle at the moment. The method isn't practical. Well, unless, he takes all the mana, it pours as much mana as he can into the Rokek crown, and then you fill him up with Flora mana, then you're instead of, he normally refreshes, right? You know what I mean? It's like your computer battery when you drain it, when it's drained. You plug it back in, and Calivus is like your computer. But then you use your computer battery to charge something else, your computer battery dies. So then you plug it in. And then your power cord slowly, eventually increases the battery. But you would basically just, instead of doing that, you're like, we're just going to pop out an old battery and pop in a new one. Magically charged! So instead of him, recharging himself over time, using the Flora would, be instantly regaining his energy. You know what I mean? So, I was looking at my computer. That's not a really great analogy. It'd be more like when you're playing a video game, right? And, you have HP or whatever, and you use that to fight something. You're using all of your stamina to... Generally, you're trying to kill something. But, okay, in this case, he'd be using all of his mana to, charge the crown. He'd be depleted. But over time, he would increase... But all you would do is take the Flora, dump that in him, and he's like, magic! It's like magic energy drinks, magic shrooms, whatever, to instantly get his mana back, and then he could keep doing, you know what I mean? But that would still be taxing on him, but probably not as bad as if he poured all of his mana in and then waited to recover, where then he would be exhausted. You know what I mean?
Thank you for the report. I guess we do need to find another way, huh?
Everyone seemed displeased as they resumed brainstorming ideas. What about borrowing the previous king's power?
That'd be tough. Father's mana has been on the decline for years. As you know, that's why he abdicated the throne early.
That makes sense now. He was like, I'm starting to get not so powerful.
Do you have any other close relatives besides His Royal Highness Vigonia? King Calivus is the only direct descendant. The son of the daughter of the previous king's mother's sister is an Oriens.
What the fuck was that? Son of the daughter of the previous king's mother's sister. So, wait. That's Calivus's, cousin, sort of, because, previous king, I'm assuming by that you mean Vigonia's mother's, so Vigonia's aunt, so his cousin's son. I think that's what they translate to, but Jesus fucking Christ.
The son of the daughter of the previous king's mother, sisters, cousins, brothers, uncles, third cousin twice removed. Their dog was adopted by a family who was also the third cousin of the second cousin of the sister of the brother to the aunt, mother, uncle.
The fuck kind of West Virginia shit was that? Can you even call him a close relative? I sat there in silence, watching Mom and Dad offer their thoughts through the chalice. My eyes wandered over to Calivis, who was looking a bit worn out. Hey, I have a question. What'll happen to the crown if we can't find another way to replenish this mana?
Well, I guess Calivis will have to top it up for years to come.
He's got a strong sense of responsibility.
Once he realizes he's the only one who can do it, he's gonna see it through no matter what it takes. Remind you of anybody?
Go a little easy on me, won't you?
An image crossed my mind at that. I vividly recalled Vilio with his black scales, tainted by all the fiends he'd consumed to protect the world. Nothing matters because he's the only one who can handle it. He will carry the weighty burden by himself and endure pain for countless strangers. Isn't this basically a repeat of what went down before? It's happening again. The words spilled forth before I could stop them. Why do you have to suffer alone when you can share some of the pain with everyone else? My voice was louder than expected, turning everyone's attention on me. Share what? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I waved my hands in a fluster, then timidly went on. I know it's difficult because only royals can replenish the crown's mana. Still, I don't want to see you carry that burden all by yourself. Despite myself, I voiced my wish. Just a wish, not a plan or a suggestion. Well, but here's the thing. Because it needs he can wield multiple types of power, like wind, earth, fire, and that kind of stuff, right? We must have earth magic. Because we can create flowers. Does Vilio have earth magic? Would have thought dragons would have fire, but I don't remember. But, like, why can't we get everyone? We know Ginia has wind magic. Aleste has earth magic. They're spirit contractors, so maybe it doesn't really count for them. But with the use of the other core items, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we, the people who are controlling like, you've got Pashalia with the water, you've got Zephora with the wind, Ion's got the ring, which is fire, I think. And then, I'm assuming the Caritas one was earth. Well, yeah, because he's a golem. Rady was a golem created out of earth, clay and shit like that. So, like, but why can't all of us use the powers that we have to help? Because with all our powers combined, we can make Captain Planet, is what I'm saying, Like, it's the power of friendship, right? We've proven that, so. Anyway. Yet contrary to my expectation, Calivis was blown away. It looked like he'd just had an epiphany. This is just a hunch, but we may be able to pull it off. What?
Aren't royals the only ones who can put mana into the crown, though?
Well, we can put our mana into him. Sounds oddly sexual. The answer to Vilio's question was quite unexpected.
Strictly speaking, it's a little different. Recent studies have refuted the claim that mana possessed by royalty is special. It's not like they hold a fifth attribute outside the ones from the four great spirits. They simply have the ability to use all four attributes because they're direct descendants of the late Arthur.
Dad nodded along, though he seemed somewhat hesitant.
It's true. The latest theories suggest that the mana used by royals is a type of energy anyone can create.
People who regarded royals as walking divine might have rejected the theory. My dad looked a tad apologetic, but the royal present in our midst appeared to agree.
I think they're on the right track, although I only have intuition to go off of. Do you know what I felt when I received King Arthur's power and gathered the 5 core items? I thought, everyone probably has a little bit of this same power.
People started buzzing the moment he shared that with us. The first to come forward was Ginia, a deep frown on his face.
Even if common folks possess similar mana to that of the royalties, we can't be sure the amount will be enough. Nothing will change. We still won't be able to use it.
You have a point, but if we manage to gather power from people all around the world, I feel like it'll be more than enough to fill the core item. Now the issue here is, how do we gather it? As I said before, we would need to do something about the spout. We can just make one. He said it so casually, but our jaws dropped. All I need to do is create a new core item that collects mana from people across the world. You're gonna make it from scratch? My voice cracked at the gravity in his proposal. His calm demeanor didn't change the fact that we'd be making the first national treasure in an entire millennium.
Can we even make a new one?
King Arthur made the crown. I've inherited his power. What makes it so inconceivable, then? A word, please, your majesty. Aleste, who had been quietly listening all this time, finally chimed in. Are you sure doing this wouldn't adversely affect your condition? After you channeled your mana into the crown the other day, you were exhausted. You'll be much more drained should you decide to make that core item. I know you hear me complain about this often, but the people will fret if their king collapses. And moreover, so shall I. Please consider your position carefully. Aleste's harsh words came from a place of care. Surely the young king felt it too. He studied Aleste for some time. You have every reason to be worried. Making a new core item all by myself is certainly no small feat. However, I don't plan to do it alone. His gaze slid over to us. Even King Arthur borrowed a bit of the four great spirits' power to create the Roquette crown. I'm sure I'll be fine if everyone helps me, just like how the great spirits helped King Arthur. By everyone, do you mean... Yes, the ones who became the core item keepers to save Vilio. Core item keepers, referring to those entrusted with the safekeeping or management of the core items through forming a link with the relic. Even humans who can't see spirits can perform magic with the relic's aid. That was a dig at fucking Zephora, wasn't it? Also at Ion, because he can't see spirits, but still. Or should I say, the first generation of Circus? Oh! Once it clicked, a powerful emotion took hold of me. It was the same sort of excitement I had when I took the stage for the very first time.
I guess we're gonna have a little reunion then.
My friends were so spread out now, their faces flashed through my mind. We can get together again? Heck yeah! My eyes lit up as my joy threatened to overflow. What do you think, Aleste? I have no reason to object if it'll not cause you any harm. But I beseech you, professors, mobilize all your best researchers so not a hair on Calivis's head will be lost. Please. Absolutely we will. We're behind him all the way. Thanks, everybody. We'd better get in touch with everyone else right away. On that note, can you let us handle that part? We'll go talk to him. Taking my cue, I nodded. We already planned to visit them to discuss my whole magic issue. If you don't mind, we can fill them in on the topic. We'll leave it to you then. Before you go, allow me to write up some detailed reports. Well, ain't that something? They're gonna make a brand new core item. Why are you making it sound like you're not part of this too? You're the keeper of the Cretus one of us. Yeah. Guess I gotta roll up the old sleeves. Maybe I should go check the wand since we're already here and all. He's not just the keeper, he is the wand. That would be great, Relita. No, I don't know why I was laughing like that. I still can't wait until we're all back together again. And Calivis just sounded like baby Calivis again, but with that, the two of us made our plan to see our old friends. Between my magic training and the new core item, we had so much to tell them. My magic's going out of control because I don't know how to control it, and also we're going to use all of our magic to create a new core item. High five, guys. And they're like, wait, what? Oriens, the city on water, was located in the northeastern region of the continent. The city of love and art had been founded by the great spirit Leve. It was a popular tourist spot where you could see buildings adorning the sea. This was also the place where you could feel spirits the most, since spirits and humans lived in harmony here. The keeper of Orion's core item, the lacrima earrings, was our former circus cohort, Pashalia. According to Leave's wishes, the earrings were still displayed in the underwater park. It really doesn't take long to go from one city to another if I ride on your back. A few days had passed since we made the unexpected decision to create a new core item. But, so Pashalia had to keep him, he used to have to wear them. So, he's the keeper of the items, but they're in the underground thing, so, well, okay, whatever. Orion's was the closest to Kalita, so we agreed to visit Pashalia first.
It's not like this is our first time here, but dang, this place just feels livelier every time. Both the tourists and the spirits seem like they're having a good time.
Vilio and I were relaxing while we waited for Pashalia to meet us. I took a deep breath and opened up my senses, tuning into the scenery around me, and Pashalia will probably have blue hair again. Well, he did in every other route but his own, to be fair.
Do you darling little flowers that adore humans, may you grow bigger and bigger?
A spirit was sprinkling water on the beautiful flowers in front of a store.
Thank you for always keeping things clean. Here, let me give you some twinkles.
Other spirits sat on the shoulders of a happy married couple making a rainbow. Spirits were zipping around everywhere I looked. You're right, they really are having fun.
Unlike before, humans show their gratitude to the spirits now. Things have changed a bit. It must be because Pashalia and the other citizens are making a dedicated effort.
You flatter me, Vilio, but thank you.
Oh, there you are, Pashalia.
Hearing that familiar voice, I whirled around to find my 2-year travel companion. His light blue hair billowed in the wind, and his smile looked the same as ever. There he is, our precious little... I want to say like our ice prince, because he's so icy blue, but, he's our water prince.
Hello, you two. Sorry I'm late. See, I told you to hurry up because you had a meeting. You could have just helped that old man find his glasses later.
I couldn't leave him when he was struggling like that. I mean, we made it here with the help of the spirits. Everything's all right.
Goodness gracious, you're so... What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Pashalia had been speaking to himself in 2 different voices, like a one-man comedy show. I hurriedly waved my hands to brush it off. That's true, Vita doesn't have her own body. She's still in Pashalia. Oh, it's just... I don't think I'll ever get used to hearing 2 voices come out of you. I hadn't noticed it when we were traveling together initially. A water spirit had been living inside his body even before we left for our trip. The second voice I'd heard belonged to Vita, a higher water spirit. Her power had single-handedly saved Pashalia from succumbing to his deadly disease. Anyone seeing this for the first time would probably be super confused.
Oh, I actually came up with a solution to that. Oh, hold on a sec.
With a smile, Pashalia held up a hand and murmured an incantation. Water gathered around him, taking on a humanoid shape.
Nice! It worked!
Whoa! A lovely girl had appeared before our eyes. Look, now she has her body back!
I personally don't care all that much, but other people tend to be thrown off when I'm speaking with her. She told me to give this a shot so we won't baffle them as much.
Oh, so you're the spirit who synchronized with Pashalia.
Yep, this is more or less how I look.
I never knew that. You're totally adorable.
What did you just call me? Adorable? How dare you talk to a higher spirit that way? And no need to be embarrassed. Anyway, shall we move elsewhere before this place gets crowded?
As keeper of the lacrima earrings, Pashalia had become the most famous person in Orion's. Vilio and I didn't exactly make it better, being fellow members of the global sensation that was circus. The 3 of us stood out far more than necessary.
In these days, I host study sessions for spirits on a regular basis.
We'd moved to a quieter spot on the city's outskirts to catch up. While we walked, Pashalia told us all about the work he was doing in Orion's. So you're educating both humans and spirits?
Yep, there's a limit to what we can do if we only focus on the human side of things. On top of that, we want to tell the spirits about the human's best traits. During our journey, I learned how important it is to understand one another. He smiled proudly. The elusive and fragile Pashalia of the past was nowhere to be found. Instead, he was brimming with so much hope that it dazzled me.
Oh, that makes you like the spirit's teacher, doesn't it?
That might be a stretch. Pashalia insisted he was merely a busybody. They all knew he was just being humble, though. Otherwise, all the passers-by wouldn't thank him whenever we walked past. You're awesome, Pashalia. You're changing the entire city's mindset. I think I might just want to get to a point where I can kick back. Sure, things get taken care of quickly when I intervene, but there's only so much I can do. I want humans and spirits to live in harmony even when I'm not around. Or even when I pass on in the far future and leave this world for good.
And see, now we're going to get anxious because we're thinking about when Pashalia dies and we're going to see it happen. It's not like, okay, at some point, like, you're going to get old, your friends are going to get old, and you're all going to start dying. Okay, that's what happens when you go old. But when you are a dragon and you're going to live for hundreds of years and your friend's going to live in a blink of an eye for your lifespan, you know what I mean? You know.
I see. That's such a nice dream, Pashalia. It's so you. Feel free to contact me if there's anything I can do to help out.
I have been fighting this fucking yawn for like 2 minutes. Every time I'm talking and then I'm like, the yawn's coming on and I just, okay.
You've always been so supportive. And sure, I'll reach out to you when the time comes.
Pashalia truly shined when he spoke about the future. It made me want to support the work he was doing. I couldn't bring myself to smile, though. He's going to die one day. See? The moment Pashalia broached the topic, my steps halted. I was well aware. No matter how much I ignored or denied it, the thought haunted me. All the friends I'd seen the world with would one day... Speezy? Huh? I snapped back to my senses when Vita peered into my face.
You feeling under the weather? I did hear your magic has been running amok.
No, I'm totally fine. Just thinking about something. My magic is running amok because, one, I don't know how to control it, and two, my emotions are making it run amok. Told you. Thank God it's that, and not because we're pregnant. Although, for a couple hot seconds, you were like, I could see what, if they were going to go that route, I could see what they're doing there, and that's kind of, like, it would have fit. It would have fit. I'm really glad that's not the case, though. I got examined at the Sage Tower, and they didn't find anything wrong with me.
Are you sure? Your complexion doesn't look so good.
Rude. I'm sorry. Now that I let one yawn out, they're all going to come out. I'm exhausted. I didn't get much sleep last night. It was like the second I actually hit my pillow and I was like about to fall asleep, my brain was like, no, wake up. And I was like, what the fuck? Why? And then like, I drank so much before I went to bed, so I had to pee like a bazillion times, which is just like, but then it was also like so fucking rainy that like when the rain comes, all of a sudden you kind of like, oh, okay, you hear it and then you're like, what the fuck? And then it like wakes you up. And it's not because like, oh my God, thunder was so loud. It's because it's like, it seriously sounded like someone was chucking the ocean at my windows. And I was like, what the hell? Like it was insane. So like that kept waking me up. Because then you'd fall asleep and then you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of water. Like, I don't know. So like I did not sleep well. I'm so fucking tired. Anyway. I am so sorry. We've got a few more minutes. I'm okay. Really, I'm not. I'm tired. Panicking, I tried to reassure them. Uh-oh. Here we go. Huh? Whoa! The flowers around my feet explosively bloomed all at once. Poorly timed proof of my insecurities. Fresh fruit plopped down from the tree above us at the same time, thumping down on my head. Ow!
You okay, Spacey?
I crouched down on the ground with Vilio covering my head. Shelley simply observed me with a smile.
Calm down. It's okay. How about you take a deep breath first?
Got it. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Focusing on Pashalia's gentle voice. I am so fucking sorry. I'm trying so hard not to, but I can't stop it.
Vilio, can you hold Spacey's hand?
Oh, sure.
The gentle warmth that wrapped around my hand brought me immense relief as I steadied my breath.
Now, face the spirits and repeat after me. I'm all right now.
I slowly opened my eyes and repeated his words. I'm all right now. No more fruits dropped from the trees, and the flowers stopped their wild growth. Thank goodness.
And was that your magic rampaging?
Yeah, this one was bigger than usual, though.
I see. I read your letter and all, but can you explain it to me again in detail?
Right, okay, here's the deal. I told both Pashalia and Vita all the details I hadn't written down in my letter. From the incidents during our circus tour to the results of the exam I got at the Sage Tower. The two of them exchanged glances, clearly mulling things over.
I get it now. If there's nothing wrong with your body, it must be a psychological issue.
You mean something's going on in my mind?
Now that you mention it, Rigel also said something about reality not hitting her yet.
As you may already know, spirits are greatly affected by a magic user's emotions. I'm a higher spirit, so it doesn't really make a difference to me, but it's different for the little ones. Draconic power is especially intense. No wonder the smaller spirits are startled by it.
What do I have to do to stop this? Should I try to keep my emotions in check?
Not quite. There's no way you can suppress your emotions for the rest of your life.
We could ask Zephora. Pretty sure he's good at it. Okay, he's good at not. I don't think he's good at suppressing his emotions because he's running wild and rampant with adoring love for us. He just knows how to put on a poker face.
Ultimately, you just need to get used to it. You need to know what to do when you feel your magic rampaging up before it blows.
Or ramping up, sorry.
And you have to be able to do it on reflex.
So they said. Bashalia clapped his hands and made a suggestion.
You should start by getting to know magic and spirits first.
Okay. And that was how our study session beneath the bright blue sky began. Bashalia and Vita explained things thoroughly so it was easy to understand. They must have had practice during their lessons for the humans and spirits. Being a spirit contractor pair, they could take both sides into consideration. Before we knew it, Vilio and I were engrossed in their lecture. So Earth spirits can be grumpy, but they're extremely loyal once they open up to you. They wield magic carefully and accurately.
It's quite hard to make them open up, but I'm sure you can do it.
And fire spirits are powerful, but they're not good at handling the hard stuff.
If we put it in human terms, I guess you could call them meatheads.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
She's like, they're kind of like himbos.
Apparently, my magic element was earth. Magic elements. There are 4 types of elements: fire, water, earth, and wind. Its handiness is greatly affected by the nature of spirits using it. I assumed I would have a fire attribute like Vilio because he gave me my powers. Okay, so yeah, he's fire. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, and then I was like, well, we got earth, so maybe he was earth power? But no, yeah, Rady has the earth powers, so.
And looking at what happens when your magic goes out of control, it's definitely not fire.
Even the exam results said your attribute is earth.
Mom and Dad said there were 2 possible factors. First, when a human contracted with a spirit, the subsequent attribute was determined by compatibility. It was something humans were born with, so there was no way to change it. Second, the dragons themselves didn't have a fixed attribute.
Being a dragon doesn't always mean your attribute will be fire.
She's right. There are dragons who use other attributes too. For instance, our chief's attribute is earth. And I think you met him, Spacey.
Oh my god, it says Tifalia right here. Rude game! Who the hell's this Tifalia bitch? Tim! Ronald! F! Go sit in the corner and think about what you've done. I know all this is speculation since there's no precedent for a dragon's bride. Still, I'm glad my attribute isn't fire. I shudder to imagine the kind of damage I'd cause if it were.
All right, I think you've got the rundown on elemental magic. How about we put it into practice? This is just the beginning. I'm not gonna hold back, you hear me?
Go easy on me. She said she wasn't. This was the main reason we'd moved to a more isolated area. A place with plenty of spirits and very few people was the perfect spot to practice magic. Encouraged by Vita, I practiced and practiced until the sun set. I think Vilios is going to take us a little extra time because now we haven't even gotten to our choice in chapter 2. So, and I mean, I did ramble a little bit in this part, but I don't think I did as much. So, like, I feel like maybe his parts might be a little bit longer. Like, maybe they're giving it... I feel like the first part would have normally been an hour because we only went like 10, 15 minutes over, but... Well, but anyway, we'll wrap this part up here and we'll just keep going. So he might have more than 4 parts, but that's okay because it's Vilio and it's the grand finale and stuff like that. So, and he's like poster boy, so makes sense if they put a little bit more into his than the others, but could just be me. Could just be that it takes a little bit longer to read. I don't know. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.